If cruising is supposed to be an enjoyable lifestyle, then how come one of the most prevalent sayings you will come across is cruising is just boat work in exotic locations? Hi, I'm Nika Waters, and welcome to the Boat Galley podcast. I'm taking apart that saying and asking us to maybe shift it around a little bit, because I don't think that cruising is just boat work in exotic locations. Not at all. Today's episode of the Boat Galley podcast is sponsored by Teak Guard. Looking to refinish your boat's teak with a minimum of mess and fuss? Look no further. Teak Guard's non-toxic, water-based formulas for cleaning and finish will turn your teak from dingy to sparkling in no time. Use coupon code BG20 for 15% off your order of $50 or more. Visit teakguard.com and admire your teak with less maintenance. Okay, maintaining your teak, that's definitely a boat job that happens regardless of where the heck you happen to be. But I have been listening to lots of people talk about, oh, yep, cruising is just boat work in exotic locations, and it's not one of my favorite sayings. There's an implication there that boats require work all the time, which, okay, yes, they do, but more on that in just a minute. And that doing boat work with changes of scenery is all you get to do while cruising. That last one in particular, that rubs me just the wrong way, because honestly, if that's truly all you ever got to do while you're cruising, who the heck would choose this lifestyle? There are lots of challenges about cruising. There's lots of amazing things, and no, it is not all beaches and umbrella drinks. That's sort of the flip side of this. But let's talk about this cruising is just boat work in exotic locations. Sure, boats require maintenance, but so do cars, so do houses. And if you had a car or a house that needed to be worked on all the time, like you left your house to drive to work and your car broke down and you needed to get it fixed, would you keep it for long? And maybe, perhaps more to the point, do you talk about all the little things that you do to the car or the house and call it car work or housework? Maybe part of my disdain for this expression comes from the lump nature of the term boat work. Because boat work can mean anything from cleaning out the shower spigot, to scrubbing the water line, to changing the oil on the engine, or cleaning out the refrigerator, or fixing a sail, or. It could be hauling out to deal with zincs or putting on a new bottom job. Some of these things are routine and done without thinking, wherever you happen to be, kind of like changing a light bulb if the light's out. Some of these things are planned, and you can choose your spot based on reputation, hurricane season, price. For sure, you use boats in a more demanding way than you do cars. There's more constant movement. There's constant exposure to salt air and water. There's constant wear and stress. And the loads that are put onto our boats in a seaway are way more than you have to deal with on a regular road with a car. Keeping the boat from needing catastrophic attention in less than ideal places means being aware and somewhat vigilant, especially with regards to major systems like engine, electrical, anchoring, rigging, sails. It definitely means listening for strange sounds and smells and investigating as soon as you hear one or smell one, because you can't generally ignore issues on a boat and hope they go away, because they almost never do. There is a lot of preventative maintenance that you can and should do on boats to minimize the chances of needing unexpected repairs. In some ways, to bring that car analogy right back, you got to change the oil regularly on the car's engine. Otherwise, you're going to find that you're out of oil and then your engine blows up, leaving you stranded on the side of the road. You're not going to do that. And there also is the fact that things do happen. Nobody plans to run over a fishing net and get it caught in the prop. Nobody plans to get caught in an unexpected squall and shred their sails. Boat work, even the big stuff, sometimes has to happen in less than ideal locations. And one of the things that I will say is that when people outside of the boating world hear boat work, they probably think big, massive monster projects. Like if you talk to somebody who is not a cruiser and you say, oh, I've got some work to do on my boat, They're not envisioning you, I don't know, swapping out a 12-volt light bulb for an LED bulb. They're probably thinking, oh yeah, you're dealing with big, massive projects. Maybe some of that saying is trying to make people who aren't cruising feel a little bit better, because you don't want people to think it's all beaches and umbrella drinks, because often there's a lot of hard work that goes into cruising. Most of the time, I will say, you can choose where you're doing your maintenance, particularly those big things, particularly those items like hauling out to do a bottom job or planning to buy a new outboard for your engine. Most of the time you can choose where you're doing that maintenance. It's kind of like opting for a good mechanic when your car needs this regular tune-up instead of waiting for the car to break down in a place where there are no mechanics. A friend of mine pointed out after this blog post came out that one of the reasons that maybe it's easier for me to think about cruising as not being just boat work in exotic locations is that we have a small boat with very simple systems, and we've just done a pretty massive refit on almost every single major system that you can talk about on the boat. But my argument is going to be more that most of the time cruising life is about living daily life in new places. It includes food shopping and cooking and cleaning and heading to the hardware store for the little pieces of something, or I gotta go buy that light bulb. It involves snorkeling and hiking and socializing, and occasionally it does involve boat work, both the little things and the big monster things. Kind of like living in a house involves mowing the lawn. Since that boat work happens wherever you happen to be, it is in different locations. But is that the main focus of cruising? Not to me. And I hope that when you get out there and go cruising, that's not the way it is for you. Our general MO does seem to be we cruise pretty hard, and then we stop cruising for a little bit and we work on the boat pretty hard, and then we go cruising pretty hard. And sure, there are small things that have to happen all the time. Heck, just today, Jeremy was just replacing a part on the autopilot that had broken. But cruising is about life, wherever you happen to be. And one of the things that we get to do when we cruise is we get to take our home and everything we have with us on the road as we go exploring new places. And sometimes that involves boat work, but absolutely not all the time. I can't wait to share an anchorage with you when we're both out there doing something amazing, like sharing an anchorage and sharing a sundowner and toasting to the fact that we get to live this incredible life that does not only involve boat work, unless that's your idea of an absolutely amazing time. I like to do a lot of the other things too. Thank you so much for listening to the Boat Galley podcast. We love hearing from our listeners. We love it when you share us with your friends. We love it when something that we have shared with you helps make your boat life better, because that is the whole purpose of the Boat Galley, the podcast, and every other part of it. I hope you have the most spectacular week.